Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in part 2, we saw molding of the regiment into a very effective combat outfit by the founding father of the unit, Lieutenant Colonel RP Singh. Now we come to part 3, that's the command tenure of Lieutenant Colonel SB Singh. Well, it started with receipt of move order of the unit to Lohit, part of 82 Mountain Brigade sector, and otherwise we were part of 2 Mountain Artillery Brigade, but regiment located at Lohit. This was followed by posting of Lieutenant Colonel RP Singh to 4 Corps as AQ and promotion of Major SB Singh, the 2IC of the regiment, to Lieutenant Colonel's rank and assumption of the command of the regiment. Well, the task ahead was in 3 folds. Move of the regiment from Deolali to Lohit, and then settlement and acclimatization in new location, Lohit, and finally the operationalization of the regiment into the role of 82 Mountain Brigade. Now, move of the regiment from Deolali to Lohit. We got cracking on the mob schemes and the SOPs of the move, and for the rail move from Deolali to Lohit, the special train was placed and the regiment moved on the special train. Well, it was highly interrupted by flash floods and bad weather, constant rains, and the interruption was to an extent that it had to stop at Katyar and unload the stores onto the platform. The regiment was given accommodation in a hospital at Katyar and limited transport to meet the essential requirements of the maintenance. So for a period of good about 1 month, the whole regiment was marooned and it went through quite difficulties. Then the special train was placed for move to Tinsukia, the railhead. The regiment moved to railhead, Tinsukia, camped there, and from Tinsukia it was to cross Brahmaputra and all the hurdles and route. So it was going from Shikowa Ghat to Sadia Ghat and Sadia Ghat to Digaru, making use of rafts, ferries, and transport for transshipment of the stores in between various ghats. It was a challenging affair, but the boys did extremely well. We reached Digaru. Digaru is called Pagal in local language as the Pagal Nala. Digaru Nala was only crossable by elephants. At times, elephants also stopped crossing it. So we got help from Assam Rifle elephants. Well, gentlemen, from Digaru, we had to go through some jungle area. Frequently, some elephants, stray elephants came, stopped our route for some time. Then, via Teju, we landed up at Lohit. Lohit, the regiment was allotted shelters, tin shelters, with the guidance of 82 Mountain Brigade. So we first time was spent in area cleaning and maintenance of our equipment and stores, and also the acclimatization. The most important was acclimatization. There were a lot of mosquitoes, leeches, and the inclement weather. So water-prone diseases water management was very important. And after this, we started a normal routine of the regiment, the PT, games, and the training for our operational task, and the mob schemes. So that was, and the game, as far as games are concerned, we focused on basketball, volleyball, and six-side hockey. Of course, officers' mess had a facility of badminton also. Now, mess life. Mess life was wonderful. We had mess timings. At 9 p.m., the lights went off as they were given from 2 a.m. There were no lights after that. So we used to gather in the mess. Seer used to come. We all used to be seated before. Pin drop silence, waiting for the seer. Good evening, sir. Good evening. And of course, we sit down, and then, of course, seer first used to have a good look at all of us. This was a facial screening of all officers from one end to another. I mean, we all were prepared for that, of course. And then, of course, seer used to break ice and then drinks and talk, normal talk. Okay. So life in the mess, we had dance, we had music, we had people played bridge, and it was good life. Well, while the cat is away, the rats do play. Once the seer had gone out, so we really had a good bhang ke pakoda. So there was a mischievous element which prepared this bhang ke pakodas without notice to all of us. People playing bridge, they had consumed less, but others like me and quartermaster, we consumed the maximum. Well, gentlemen, Lohit had a lot of challenges. It had challenge of stocking. Stocking was required to be done to cater for cut-off season, because invariably, because of Brahmaputra and Rigaru, etc., the regiment needed adequate stocks all the time. And also the CSD stores, they were also to be ferried across, and the Brahmaputra and Rigaru Nala. So many times we were detailed to carry out this shifting across the obstacles across Rigaru Nala, the stores, and the CSD stores. Then there was challenge of mail. Mail used to be interrupted by all these interruptions of season, the rainy season, and the non-negotiation obstacle systems which were existing there. So we used to get mail, put the mail into sequence, and then go through the letters. So that was another. Elephants were quite a nuisance. Sometimes they blocked a route by standing in the middle of the road. We had to wait for them to get aside. Then whenever we moved out for the exercises, whether it's Opalert or to Lekapani, that is across Brahmaputra, so they raided the gun position. And we had to take care of that also. That was another nuisance. Then we had small arms ranges available of Assam rifle. We also had the facility of, once in a week, we had a facility of a cinema of Assam rifles. We could use that thing. And picnics on Sundays and holidays, whenever time permitted us, we moved out on picnics. And I recall Mr. Gohai, the local MP, he was very nice character, and he always looked after us. Fresh fishing, wrapping it in leaves, and then, cooking in mud. Typical, a beautiful, lovely taste. And we used to have that fish parties also, and fishing in the various ponds and rivulets. Some Air Force people also came to have a change from their environment to our location. So these were the challenges and the pluses of Lohitpur location. Well, gentlemen, before I come to 82 Mountain Brigade and talk about Lekapani, I'll briefly touch upon the command control and the dispositions, the locations of units and elements. 82 Mountain Brigade was part of 2 Mountain Div. There were 2 brigades in 2 Mountain Division, 82 Mountain Brigade and 5 Mountain Brigade at Along. Well, the Div had 2 Mountain Artillery Brigade located at Lekhapani. It had 2 regiments located at Lekhapani, 23 Mountain Regiment and 32 Light Regiment, along with the headquarters. The first commander was Brigadier Vikram Chand, and subsequently Brigadier Tom Pandey took over from him. Now, its one regiment, that is 90 Mountain Regiment, was located at Lohit with 82 Mountain Brigade, and the second regiment was located, that is 99 Mountain Regiment, was located at Along, and CO was Lieutenant Colonel E.R. Tullit, that was located Along in 5 Mountain Brigade sector. Well, that was the dispositions of the troops. Now, a brief mention about interaction with brigade headquarters. 82 Mountain Brigade headquarters was located just a couple of yards away from us. It had 2 Assam rifles under it, operational command, and 1 battalion was permanently located here, and rear of other battalions. Well, they had 1 battalion permanently located at Lohitpur, and 1 battalion was permanently at Hailyong, the operational location, where the main defenses were there. And 1 battalion in the forward posture between between Hailyong and Along, Volong. So, first commander was Brigadier Ran Singh from Sikh Regiment, a very volatile man, full of life, full of dance and music, and famous. We used to have good parties, good drinks, good dance thereafter, and main songs like Hai Hai Ne Lachi Teriya Ghor Peniya, and then Pajama Tang Kurta Dhila Uspa Hara Dupatta Reshma A. So that used to be a very lively affair, having parties in the brigade headquarters. Then we had a lot of visitors coming to the brigade headquarters and visiting us also. Our MGRT came, I recall, and of course the GOC Trudev and other people. They were frequent visitors. Brigadier Ran Singh left us, and then came Brigadier Amarjit Singh from Amat. Very nice person, nice gentleman, sober gentleman. And the last commander, of course not during Colonel SB's time, was K. Mahindra Singh from Gadwal Rifles. Now I'll mention about Op Alert. That was the main task we were waiting for, operationalization of the regiment. We had our op location at Swami Camp, the gun position, a couple of kilometers short of Hailyong. So we prepared the gun positions very meticulously, full digging, crawl trenches, overhead protection, and the camouflage concealment of the gun positions. Then we did the survey of the gun position and put them on one grid, established a bearing picket to link up with the OP. Well, I was the survey officer with Havaldar Jialal as my survey NCO, and there was senior NCO Roshan and Hardyal, Babu. So it was full delegation of responsibilities to us, and we did a very meticulous job of it. So gun position, local defense was also tied up. Now I'm talking about OP end. We established OPs, BPs, bearing pickets at the OP ends, OPs also. And the disposition was like this. There was one battalion at Barfu at Cone Hill. And there was a battalion across Lohit River on Hackle Tree. So we fixed the targets from different locations in infantry battalions, in front of the infantry battalions, selected them as DFs and DFSOS. That was a power with the infantry counterparts. And we linked these targets, the OP end with the gun end. I was given full freedom of action, so it was very satisfactory working right till as late as possible we could do, and then come back before last night to the gun position, Swami camp. Now I'll briefly mention about exercise with the troops. We also had exercise with the troops where affiliation of the OPBC parties was carried out by other officers with the respective battalions. I was with Mike Larry, 41GR, and it was a treat listening to the debriefing of the troops. Bato, Kastacha, Katimanchicha, and all the probing questions. And it was a wonderful learning. I also, of course, the CEO was very keen to learn the fire planning, and I discussed the basics of fire planning with General Mike Larry. It was wonderful. Captain Ali was OP officer with me, and we did have exercise with the troops. Now, I'll mention here interaction with the locals. Well, as part of Survey Party, we had facility of interaction with the locals, the Mishmis. So I learned the Mishmi language. Hano Honana, Hano Boya, where you're coming from, where you're going. Nyo Mankade, Hama Anup Singh, my name is Anup Singh. Nyo Ang Hano, where's your house? Ha Ang Jammu Kashmir. Nyo Mia Braika, are you married? Ha Brian, I'm bachelor. They had a problem of marriage because it was basically the availability of mithuns. If you have mithuns, well, you can marry a number of times as per the availability of mithuns with you. So it was nice interacting with them. Very nice people, very simple people. And we had no problem in getting dalchini. Just a bottle of rum and you get a bag of dalchini. You can take care of it. So, and it was nice interaction, and even civil administration was available at Haliong, but we had no requirement basically at our level. Well, gentlemen, now I talk about Lekhapani, which was location of our artillery brigade, 2 artillery brigade. So, first commander was Vikram Chand. So, regiment went there twice. First time when Brigadier Vikram Chand was the CRT. Well, out there, the main interest was there were 2 firing ranges. One was East Mayo Ranges, and other one was Jairampur Ranges, the smaller ranges. Even East Mayo Range was not very big, but it gave us different lessons. Hill shooting, high angle fire, and crest clearance, they were the main challenges. The approach between OP and the gun position was very difficult one. And it was full of wild animals, the approach. We used to go with all the dhas, in sharpened dhas, should we confront any wild animal. And that's going to the OP location of East Mayo Ranges. Jairampur Ranges, Jairampur had 7 Assam rifle location, and it was towards the axis, Nampong, and then to the Myanmar border. Stillwell Road was very close across the border, and we had a lot of exercises also. Subsequently, we had a Padyatra, not during Colonel SB's time. So, what I mean that they gave different lessons. It was a typical jungle shooting as far as Jairampur was concerned. And it was a hill shooting and high angle fire and crest grace prowess, which I mentioned to you. Then at this location we had 23 Mountain Regiment, commanded by Colonel Chahal, and also 32 Light Regiment. General Nanda was there, and then of course, Major Colonel Nanda, and of course, Colonel Fagula. Yeah. So these were the elements to get there, and we had good interaction with them. Well, there was a good life, a social life at Jairampo. We had mix with the tea planters, and the dance, and the drinks, and the parties were really full of life. And then we had a second tenure, we had Brigadier Tom Pandey. He was a CRT, second time, when we went there. So, and we also had hearts, where local used to sell their products, basically honey and local fruits, etc. So that was as far as Jairampo Ranges was concerned. For practice camp, we covered each other's unit. 99 Mountain Regiment came to cover our practice camp from Along. And similarly, we had sent our team to Along for conducting their practice camp. Our practice camp was conducted in the training ranges, and my friend Captain Dharam Singh had come to umpire on us. He was umpiring on the survey party, that's my party. He came from 99 Mountain Regiment. For the training events, the CEO invariably went and participated. And I recall attending a sand model discussion at Lekapani, which was attended by General Major General, that time Major General O.P. Malhotra. He was the Chief of Staff of FOCO. Well, these were the main events. Then came the posting of Lieutenant Colonel SB Singh, and the new CEO's posting, Lieutenant Colonel V.P. Gupta, took place. Well, I was there to receive Lieutenant Colonel V.P. Gupta. Then there was a Henning taking over. And then that time I again went with them to see off my CEO, that's Lieutenant Colonel SB Singh. And Colonel Gupta, then Lieutenant Colonel Gupta, he interacted with the div headquarters. Then we came back. Well, this is how the end of part 3, the tenure of Lieutenant Colonel SB Singh. And now in part 4, we'll see the tenure under Lieutenant Colonel V.P. Gupta. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.